Hey everybody, it is Grace Summers, and I am with a special guest, Sage,
Hi.
the wonderful Sage. And today I thought we would actually go and um, go through a topic that we both have, that we're both pretty much in common with.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that the majority of people here know that I'm not a part of like I'm not like straight away from like the LGBT community. So today I thought we'd be talking about one of the many parts of that community and talk to you today about non-binary and what it means to be non-binary, and what it means to us, and where what just the whole concept, because I've talked about being transgender. I've talked about that enough, but well, I'm definitely gonna still talk about it. But um, the people who are non-binary can experience it on a similar way. So if we'll talk about like what the definition is and all that fun jazz. So yeah. Um, People who are non-binary are like me and you and so many in between.
Yeah. I think what a lot of people misconstrue about gender is that it has to be binary. And that's not necessarily true because there are a lot of different ways people can express gender and feel. Because gender is completely different from your sex
Right.
and what you are born with. Gender is a societal construct that we've created, and a lot of people just don't feel like they fit in between just male or female. It's the spectrum,
Right.
and a lot of people fall in between there.
Like I would like draw a line and put like male, female, and like the cisgender or like the extremes, and then there's like that in between, the little like gray area, and that's usually where I go. Now I tell people sexual orientation is completely different than gender identity.
Yes, that's a
Just,
completely different
just like
topic.
what you were saying. Um, Sexual orientation is who you're attracted to. So, what kind of person you're attracted to, and gender identity is how you identify your gender. It kind of explains itself.
Yeah.
But people who are non-binary or NB for short, they look more. I there It's more of an umbrella term because it could mean that you identify with both male and female. You may identify more feminine than masculine, and
Right.
that's the whole gray area.
Right, and a lot of non-binary people do still express themselves like as more feminine or more masculine, but that doesn't make them any less identifying as non-binary, because they're not identifying as a man or a woman,
Right.
but they may. Your physical features and how you express yourself isn't necessarily indicative of your gender or how you identify yourself.
Right. And it's easy for people who are not they're not as familiar with the community. They may try to put it in one category, and like I said, it's not as simple as just writing it down. There's there's more of what like there's more of a more of an in between, and there's that it can fluctuate.
Right, and again, non-binary is obviously an umbrella term because
Yes.
there's a lot of different gender identities within the non-binary community. such as like gender fluid, which you were kind of talking about, where people their gender identity fluctuates.
Right.
It's not always the same.
Right.
Um, and then there's people that are like agender, where they don't feel like they have any gender at all,
Right.
and that is, something that I feel a lot of people struggle to understand, but I think it's easier to wrap your head around when you just consider that we're all just humans and we're all just trying to live our
Yeah.
best lives and be happy in our own skin.
Yes. That's why still wear that We Are Human shirt. And like right now I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing my little Ruby shirt, but um yeah, so non-binary can either mean you identify with multiple genders or no gender at all. And you can it's just on how you feel and what your preference is. And
Yeah, non-binary basically means, well, it's in the definition. It's not binary, so it's not
Right.
one or the other. It's a spectrum.
Right. It's it's just based on how you feel. And um for me, I feel I don't identify as I don't see gender. I never do. I see people, with hence the We Are All Human shirt. Um, I just see people all together, and I know that there are more feminine features and more masculine features. I can't deny that, and I'm not going to deny somebody's ability to express themselves any way they want. So I tend to, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off,
no, you're
but
good.
I feel like a lot of gender too is interpretation, because what you would consider like feminine features, someone might not think is like
Right.
a feminine feature on someone else.
Right. Right.
So it's very subjective.
Right. And like some people have brought up telling me to like when I'm transitioning, they've been brought up so are you going to wear makeup? Are you going to dress up more feminine? Are you going to wear dresses? Are you going to what's going to all happen and are you going to do this? And the thing is clothes don't really pick a gender. They don't see gender. They're just clothes.
Right. Clothes are clothes. Like,
Right.
I know we have this like this gender construct built into our society that these are for girls and these are for boys, but like they're just clothes.
Right.
I mean,
and it's the same thing with like toys and with like colors where people are like, "Oh, blue, that's a boy's color." And it's like it doesn't have to be a blue like a boy's color.
right. It's
The same thing with
it's
pink
just
or
because
purple.
we say it is. It's not because it actually is inherently belonging to one group or another.
Right.
It's just that arbitrary category we put it in.
Right. And that makes it a lot it's under it's I understand why people say that and why people think that.
Right. I mean, it's obviously been a part of our culture and our society for a very long time,
Right.
and I'm not expecting people to just like be like, "Oh yeah, non-binary." Like that makes
Right.
total sense, like everyone. But like, I think if people would have a more open view of gender and like a more, I don't want to say open-minded, but a more, um, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but
I feel like people should be able to listen and understand.
right, right.
Right now, we have the whole side note. We have a whole like debacle with the face mask still, which I think is absurd. Um, but people who do choose not to wear like face masks and their logic, their reasoning behind it, it can be it seems a little bit like far fetched to me, but the thing is, I'm trying to understand them, and the problem becomes people don't understand that. Hey, another person could feel this way, and it's okay. It's okay that they feel this way. It's okay for you to have an opinion on something. That's perfectly normal. That just makes us human, and so the concept of Like I don't see gender, and people definitely do, and that's okay. That's okay. There's no need to get into like those arguments, and the people with the masks they get really mad, and the people who don't have masks can get really mad, and it's it's just an opinion. But side note though, wear masks. I mean that is an opinion, but it does save lives. Um, but with the whole non-binary and the gender spectrum, that is just very opinionated and there if you really want an in-depth look you can look that up. You can definitely Google or Yahoo or whatever you use.
AOL.
AOL, yep. AOL. um, but it's an umbrella term, and like I said, for me I don't see gender. What about you?
I personally, I mean, I obviously with my sexual orientation, I am pansexual, so I personally do not see people's gender either. I just see people for who they are, and um, it doesn't matter to me like what they identify as. I mean, obviously, it's important, but it doesn't matter in my attraction to them. It's not a factor. I just am attracted to the person for who they are, and I think in my own personal experience, I've kind of struggled a lot with my own gender identity over the years, because I had come out as trans to my family, my friends, and everyone, and I felt like I was on the right path, like I was doing the right thing, and I'm like, I feel happier, like I'm going in the right direction, but I got so stuck in that mindset that okay, so I'm transitioning from a female to a male, so it's like I have to act a certain way, I have to dress a certain way. Like I felt like there were certain like societal expectations
Like
that
certain
came with
codes you
that.
had to follow?
Right, and I felt like I had to act like this like big tough manly man all the time, and that's not who I am like at all. And it just
I still wouldn't be able to ever see you as a manly man.
but I thought that was what would make my experience valid, that was what I had to do to like be trans and like
Right.
to you know be happy with my gender. But I realized that I do identify as more male leaning and non-binary, if that makes any sense, more masculine on that end of the spectrum. But I realized I just wasn't happy with how I was like presenting myself and how people were perceiving me, and I just kind of got fed up with it eventually. And I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna wear cute clothes. I'm gonna wear makeup, like, cause I got rid of all my clothes that I liked. I got rid of all the girly things, cause I'm like I can't have those anymore.
Right.
And like it just yeah, once I started realizing that it doesn't have to necessarily be one or the other, that really opened up like so many doors for me, and I feel like the best I've ever felt in my own skin, and I just feel like I've finally figured out, where I want to be in life, and um, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to actually be able to see and go through, especially being like trans and understanding another person's point of view
Hmm.
on being trans and what it's like going through it. And
Right.
yeah, how was there any like uh time that you discovered that you'd identified more as like non-binary?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think after high school, once I got out of high school and I started getting a bit older, because I had come out when I was 16 or 17, I believe, and I had been presenting as um, a dude in high school, and I don't know. As I got older, I just kind of really didn't. I started feeling like I wasn't happy with myself, and like I
Right.
needed to change something because I'm like, I know I'm on the right track, but I just don't feel like I'm there yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think once I kind of discovered the non-binary community and like read more about it, I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
I think that's where I fall. Because I
Exactly.
was under the impression for so long that it just had to be one or the other.
Right. And like we've said, there is no specific one or the other. It can be in between. It can like it's there can be a gray area, and it's just all on how you feel. And that is something that I will tell people. Like, I'm also, side note, I never I never personally like to tell parents how to like raise their kids, because obviously that is what you want to do, and I respect it. I just wish for me, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's others, to have known that it was okay to feel certain ways, and that it meant it meant that I was unique. Like, not all people think the same way, and it's okay to feel a certain way. It's so easy for like, I know some of the really conservative family members may say, well, it's just a phase, you'll get over it, don't worry about it, but it's not a phase. And they may try kicking you out of school.
And you know, even if it is just a phase or whatever, that doesn't make it any less valid.
Right.
And that it's still an important part of your life experience and what makes
Right.
you who you are.
Right. That's a part of learning. You get to learn. Like, eventually you you'll like some fruits or some vegetables or some foods, and just because you like them now, it doesn't mean, oh, it's just a phase. You're going to get over it. You'll experience some new flavors, and that you won't like that eventually, or we have to avoid you touching that food. It's not, it doesn't have to be like that. It's a learning curve. People get to learn. and and one of the arguments that I hear with people who are transphobic is that, oh, well, the people who detransition, who go back and see, it's not for everybody. And the thing is, yeah, it's not for everybody, but that's a learning lesson, and that,
It doesn't make it any less valid
right,
for those
it
that
doesn't make
do
it any less
experience it.
valid. Yes.
Right.
It's so easy for people to get wrapped up in it, and people to focus in on the negative and try to latch in on it.
Right. And I feel like a lot of that too is like, you know, you don't know this person's experience, how they feel like this, or them transitioning, maybe that they thought that that was how they identified, but they realized that that wasn't how they felt, and that's okay
Right.
because, you know, I feel like there's this like exclusivity that
Right.
comes with the trans community too, where it's like you have to be this to be
Right.
trans.
You, like, I was just about to say that, like, you have to do the surgery, or you're not trans. Or they'll some trans people will say, oh, if you don't experience dysphoria, you're not trans, and they're so adamant on it, and I'm like, you don't know another person's experience.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for people to be more empathetic, to understand that another person is going through some similar feelings. And if you don't experience that, then that's great. I'm glad if you don't experience dysphoria. I'm glad you don't experience discomfort in your gender, and that, like, that, I'm glad for you, but that's not how everybody sees things. It's the same thing with relationships. Relationships can come and go, but that doesn't change the fact that you learn from it and you move on. It's not like, oh,
Grow
well,
as a
the
person.
relationship is just a phase, you'll get over it.
Right.
No, there's
It's a stepping stone in your
right,
life.
right. And I do wish that people would be more aware or more understanding of that. It's a lot easier for people to, like I said, get wrapped up in that negativity and to think, oh, well, because I don't think this way means that's not how it's supposed to be. But that doesn't always necessarily mean the case.
Mhm.
So, once again, non binary, it can be multitude of genders or no gender at all, and gender identity and sexual orientation are two separate things. I'd like to reiterate that they're two separate things. Sexual orientation, once again, is who you're attracted to, which, like pansexual. The ones that say sexual at the end, like asexual, bisexual, um, those are all sexual orientation. Transgender is gender identity, hence the gender part in transgender, and being agender, that's also another gender. It, like I said, look it up if you want. Do some research. I always promote doing research and doing some looking into it. And
Are you listening, everyone? There's a pop quiz at the end.
no, there isn't. There is no pop quiz. There is no pop quiz. But it's easy. Like I said, it's easy for people to be stuck in their ways, and that's why I always promote learning, like getting to understand.
Definitely.
And if you have family members who are like who are questioning things, listen to them.
Yeah.
It's nice to listen.
Education is a very powerful tool.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and one other side note, I have gotten messages from my last video about the comments. I'm aware. I have absolutely no idea how to fix it because YouTube is YouTube and YouTube is already bugging out people. Also, check if you're subscribed because apparently that's a bug. You may be unsubscribed and you may think you're subscribed, but that may just be a fluke. So it never hurts to check YouTube, and hopefully the comment section works again. Definitely, I always promote talking about this throughout the community if need be. Anything that I've brought up in the past and anything I bring up in the future, never hurts to talk about it because stuff deserves to be talked about, essentially. And it was nice having you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It was really great.
It's nice talking about being non-binary and actually getting to understand another person's point of view on it. It's very nice.
Yeah, I'm glad I could be on the show.
Yeah, my wonderful show that has so little like cameos. We will do one more video together for sure, and that will be coming up. But as of right now, talked about non-binary, and if the comment section works, great. You can leave a comment down below. The like still works, so you can always like the video if you do. And it never hurts to leave any information towards other people. Follow me on my social media, and if you follow me on my social media, you can then message me directly, see if there's anything I could improve, or talk with me. And
I mean, if the comments work, I mean, feel free to leave your own experiences and
Right.
like your own opinions on the topic.
right, it's always good to keep the topic going, to keep the discussion going, and it never hurts to hear another side. I always love to listen to the other side of another person's story and what's going on. It's always nice. And to remember, subscribe for more content if need be, when that will be. And also check to see if you're subscribed because, like I said, YouTube is dumb. It's good, but it's dumb. But anyway, we will see you whenever that may be. But until then, peace.